Colin Kaepernick and the 49ers roll into the desert trying to forget about last Sunday night's loss to Chicago. Meanwhile, for Drew Stanton, a second straight week as the starter. Can he make it a second straight win? We welcome you to the University of Phoenix Stadium in Glendale, Arizona. Week 3 NFC West matchup as the Cardinals host the San Francisco 49ers. Hi again, everybody. Alongside David Deal and Laura Oakman, I'm Tom Brenneman. Welcome to the NFL on Fox. These Cardinals feel like they have something to prove. They have lost 9 of the last 10 against this 49ers team. And if they're going to prove it, they're going to prove it with their number 2 man at quarterback.
People may forget that when Drew Stanton came here, he wasn't the number 2 quarterback. He was slotted as the starting quarterback. So there's a lot of confidence in him. But he needs to do a better job of controlling the football, getting it out of his hands to make sure he doesn't take the sacks that he took last week. Now, on the other hand, we talk about Colin Kaepernick. This is a quarterback has been proven in the NFL. But these last 2 games in the fourth quarter have been absolutely dismal. The turnovers, and they've scored 0 points in the second half. In order to win this football game, they can't have those miscues.
It should be a good one. It might be only week 3. But this would have repercussions for later in the year in the NFC West. You're watching the NFL on Fox. Here are today's DirecTV players to watch. We start with Frank Gore.
He is San Francisco's bell cow. When he rushes for over 100 yards, they're 11-0 since 2011. And on the other side of the ball, Patrick Peterson, he's going to have a big job ahead of him, making sure he communicates to take Michael Crabtree and Anquan Bolden out of this game.
Well, this season, get every NFL game every Sunday included at no extra charge. When you switch to DirecTV, call 1-800-DirecTV.
Fox Sports welcomes you to the following presentation of the National Football League.
Just about set for football here in Glendale. Both of these teams have had to deal with issues off the playing field. For more of that, let's check in with Laura Oakman.
Tom, why is Ray McDonald playing? The Niners say 2 key reasons. 1, this case has not been presented to the Santa Clara DA, and 2, no charges have been filed. CEO Jed York has said he is fine with criticism. He believes in due process. As for Arizona, Jonathan Dwyer was arrested on aggravated assault on Wednesday. He was immediately deactivated. This is an issue Bruce Arians knows a lot about, with a wife who's worked with abused children for 18 years. He told me, I hope these situations finally put some light on domestic violence. Tom?
Amen to that, Lauren. Thank you. What a job Arians has done. 61 years old, out of York, Pennsylvania. A 10-game winner last season in Arizona. And his Cardinals, dating back to last year, have won 9 of the last 11. Cardinals have won the toss, selected to get the football. And it's banged through the back of the end zone. And that's where Drew Stanton will put it in play. 30 years young, out of Farmington Hills, Michigan, played collegiately at Michigan State. When he started last week, it was his first start in over 1,300 days. He played well, not great, certainly was efficient. The bottom line is the Cardinals won the game. Carlson, the tight end, in motion, and they give it to Ellington, who's playing against his cousin Bruce Ellington here today. Both growing up in Moncks Corner, South Carolina. Let's take a look at our impact players. We start on the offensive side with Arizona.
If I was going to watch one matchup today, Jared Veltier versus Justin Smith. This is going to be a battle up front in supremacy of who's going to dominate the line of scrimmage.
Justin Smith healthy again. One of the great players in the NFL over the last 14 years. First pass, and a catch made by John Brown. And the rookie is up to the 26-yard line. It'll bring up our first 3rd down of the afternoon.
It's a nice little start here for Arizona. They want to keep themselves out of those 3rd and long situations and stay on schedule early.
Blitz coming off the corner. Stanton looking down the sideline. And that is a catch by Michael Floyd.
It's a very good start here. Look at where Drew Stanton puts this ball. When he throws this, he gets it outside to the sidelines. Perfect route, perfect combination. Starting off fast with Michael Floyd.
He beat Antoine Bethea in his first season as a 49er. They have completely rebuilt the San Francisco 49ers secondary. Only one starter back from last year. None of the four from their Super Bowl team 2 years ago. All day to throw, and Stanton missed. He had an eye again on Floyd, the third-year wideout out of Notre Dame. You know, you look at some of their defensive losses. Not only the rebuilt secondary, but guys they were counting on being here this year. You know about Bowman, the terrible injury in the NFC Championship game. They hope to have him back week 9. Aldon Smith suspended. Glenn Dorsey injured during the preseason. To go along with Rodgers and Brown, their starting corners, both leaving to go to Oakland, and Dante Whitner left to go back home to Cleveland. Second down and 10. Andre Ellington slips through the right side down to the 33-yard line. Ellington is a dangerous back. He had an outstanding game last week in that victory over the New York Giants.
He sure did, and this is a man who averaged 5.53 yards a carry last season. So it's going to be very important for this Arizona team to get the ground game going to open up the rest of the offense.
91 rushing yards. With just 15 carries for Ellington last week. Four-man rush. Good protection. Dropped. That's a catch that should have been made by Ellington. Patrick Willis right there would have been coverage. So a decent drive to begin this game stalls for Arizona at the 33-yard line. And they will now send out their rookie kicker who has not missed so far this year. Chandler Catanzaro, rookie out of Clemson. His long so far is 49. This will be a 51-yard field goal try. And this rookie is impressive now. 7 of 7 to start his NFL career. So the Cardinals on the board. Can Kaepernick and the Niners answer?
Today's game is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Without a heart, it's just a machine.
Cardinals go 7 plays, 47 yards, shooing up better than 2.5 minutes. Capped off by a 51-yard field goal for a 3-0 lead. Those are the first points allowed on an opening possession by the 49ers defensively, going all the way back to week 3 last season against Indianapolis. Bruce Ellington will take a knee, and here comes Colin Kaepernick, coming off one of the worst career outings he's had. 3 interceptions, lost a fumble. 2 of the interceptions came in the fourth quarter, which led to Chicago Bear touchdowns. He was sacked 4 times, was penalized for inappropriate language, is hit for an $11,000 fine. It's not been a good week.
No, it has not been, but I will say this. This San Fran team is the only team in the NFL right now in weeks 1 and week 2 to score touchdowns in their opening drive.
49ers came out of the huddle in a rather unusual way, forcing Arizona to scramble around, and Jim Harbaugh wondering why. The Cardinals were not charged with a timeout. They give it to Frank Gore. And he is tripped up by Cromartie in the backfield. That'll be a gain of a yard. Take a look at our impact players for San Francisco, and they're in hurry-up mode.
They certainly are, and Derek Carrier is going to have a big game when they don't have Vernon Davis to stretch that field. But Patrick Peterson is going to have to do a great job in that backfield.
First throw for Kaepernick. And a catch is made by Stevie Johnson. Came over after 6 seasons with Buffalo. Certainly worth noting for the 49ers. They are without Vernon Davis. They remember he injured his ankle, was on crutches after the game last week against Chicago. they're also, again, without their Pro Bowl right tackle, Anthony Davis. Crossing pattern, and a catch made by Johnson, and that's good enough for a first down up to the 35-yard line.
That was a very strategic move by the San Francisco offense to get up to the line of scrimmage to make sure that they didn't let this Arizona crowd affect them going into this opening drive.
Well, there was a penalty flag thrown right in front of the Arizona sideline. I don't think anybody on the field knew about it.
Defense, 12 men. That penalty is declined. The result of the play, first down.
And you can tell this hurry-up offense, at least the first 3 downs of the game, is confusing Arizona a little bit.
It most certainly is, and you're doing that so they can't switch formations. They can't make all the substitutions, especially on the opening 3rd down of the game.
First down for Kaepernick from the 35. Threads the needle, and the catch is good enough for a 5-yard gain to Michael Crabtree. Let's check in back in Los Angeles. A game break with Joel Klatt.
Tom, in the NFC East, a great battle. Nick Foles has been taking heat all day long in the pocket, but he finds Jeremy Maclin for the 27-yard score. He's 27 of 39 for 306 and 3 touchdowns.
Crabtree, a 2nd down reception to move the chains up to midfield.
They're doing a great job of hitting these mid routes. They're not looking to make the long shots right now. They're making their wide receivers run off those defensive backs, and they're playing one-on-one Stevie Johnson against linebackers.
4-man rush. Kaepernick scrambling, and he'll take it himself, and that'll be a gain of close to 7. Here's Kaepernick a season ago threw for over 3,000. He rushed for over 500. But there were areas where he wasn't quite as sharp as the year before. His interceptions almost tripled. His sacks more than doubled. And his lost fumbles more than doubled from the season before. Kaepernick will dive, and it appeared as though he dove short of the first down. He needed to get to the 40, and I think they're going to spot that about a half a yard short. In fact, a full yard short.
If you watch the Arizona defense, it's not just blitzing in passing situations. They want to create confusion in the run game and get offensive linemen off of their double teams, get better pursuit angles of attack, and really try to create formidable.
San Francisco.
49ers decide to spend a timeout. 3rd down when we return.
Today's game is sponsored by Bud Light, who reminds fans to stay in the game and drink responsibly.
San Francisco, 3rd down and a yard. They are 7 of 8 so far this season on 3rd and 3 or less, and that is the best in all the NFL. Extra lineman in motion. They're going to throw on 3rd and 1. Kaepernick across the field. And the catch is made inside the 20-yard line by Derek Carrier. He had his first 3 career receptions against Chicago last week and starts in place of Vernon Davis today.
They get some pressure by the defensive lineman who right up the middle into his face, but this is what Colin Kaepernick is able to do. He's able to take that ball, roll outside of the pocket, and make plays. This is what he brings, and this is the dynamic offense that he's able to do. When he's able to spread that and make you play 11-on-11 football, that plays into the advantage of San Fran.
Nice play of the drive. Little read option there, and it is taken by Kaepernick tiptoeing along the sideline, and he is right at another first down at the 8-yard line. It's 1st and goal, 49ers.
They're doing a great job of selling this play action. You're going to see both guards pull. And look, he has Frank Gore leading out in front of him. This is a designed run on their part to make sure Bruce Ellington and his other players give him protection when he's going down here, forcing himself, getting himself into position. And most importantly, here we are in red zone. They've got to come up with a touchdown.
They roll Kaepernick to the right. And that's very close to being a touchdown. It looked like he was trying to throw it away. And Anquan Bolden, the longtime Cardinal, makes a catch, and that's down to the 1-yard line.
Once again, a play action here, staying on the move. Anquan Bolden catching it right there. Let's see what the review is.
Will there be a challenge?
And number 56 are reporting eligible on the play. Number 78 and number 56 are eligible. 7, 8, 56.
Was it a touchdown? Second down and goal from the 1. High formation.
Second charge timeout. San Francisco. There will be a 30-second timeout.
Jim Harbaugh does not appear to be happy about having to use a timeout here at all.
No, he doesn't. That's not something that you want to waste here in the first quarter, especially when you're looking in the second quarter, hoping to have a final drive, maybe a 2-minute drill. Those timeouts are crucial in the second quarter.
We saw the pylon come down. Perhaps Harbaugh's upset thinking that was a touchdown.
We haven't seen a review. Nothing's happened. So clearly there's not anything. There's not a red flag thrown here. So they're going to play. Here we are, second down. And let's see what the San Francisco team can do.
A pair of extra linemen check in. Dylan Farrell and Joe Looney on the second down and goal. Gore stuffed for a 1-yard loss. Third and goal.
Great penetration by Frosty Rucker. They're happy to have him back healthy, to see him penetrate in the backfield and force Frank Gore back inside to where that entire Arizona defense is.
This will be the 11th play. It started from a San Francisco 20. Third and goal from a 2. All-out blitz coming. And it's into the end zone and a touchdown from Michael Crabtree.
Nice another designed rollout here. We're going to see Michael Crabtree snap off his route inside the end zone, 2 yards deep. Does a great job of breaking it right to the sidelines. And you see Colin Kaepernick deliver it right here to Michael Crabtree. Colin Kaepernick rolls it out. He's going to snap it off. You're going to see Anquan Bolden take that inside route to naturally pick him. Touchdown, San Francisco.
That's 3 straight games. The 49ers have now scored a touchdown on their first possession of the game. And now to be Phil Dawson for the point after, and it is good. So the Cardinals a field goal. The 49ers get a touchdown. Second this season for Michael Crabtree. 7-3 Niners.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Pizza Hut's Bacon and Cheese Stuffed Crust, by AT&T, mobilizing your world, and by your next truck, Ford F-150.
Truly one of the most spectacular sights in the world. Grand Canyon. Colorado River carving alongside right here in the state of Arizona. And a very impressive scoring drive. Kaepernick perfect. Ran for 19, threw for 61. Nothing wrong with that.
No, there isn't. And I think that's going to be one of the crucial things that they have to do in this football game. Those extended drives of 10-plus plays and keep this Arizona team off the field.
Ellington will take a knee. Nearly slip sliding away there was Crabtree. Thankfully, he's all right. Good start for the 40. Patrick Willis, the heart and soul of this 49ers defense, leads that unit out onto the field. 49ers in front, 7-3. Second possession for Stanton and the Cardinals. Across the middle. They find John Carlson. He is getting to start at tight end today in the absence of Rob Hausler. Penalty flag in the secondary.
Prior to the pass, illegal contact, defense, number 52. That penalty is declined. Result of the play, first down.
As soon as we talk about Patrick Willis, they find him with a laundry.
And that is what we're going to have to see here. Now with the emphasis of pass interference, approaching, they're going to run those crossing routes with those tight ends to see if they can get those physical linebackers to get their hands on to draw that penalty.
First down, Ellington wrapped up by Willis, and that's up to the 39-yard line. It'll bring up second down and 6 for Arizona. Cardinals starting the year at 2-0. Should they win today, they'd be 3-0 for only the 3rd time in franchise history. And they've done it in back-to-back comeback fashion. Down by 11 in week 1 against San Diego. Came back to beat the Giants. Last week, aided by a big punt return for a touchdown by Ted Ginn Jr. Second down. And again, Carlson. And he's about a yard shy of a first down up to the 44.
It's very good by John Carlson. He reads the blitz, gets his hands up right away, knows that Patrick Willis is coming to keep moving the chains, keeping yourself out of those 3rd and long situations. Back in a 3rd and 1 here. Now let's see if we get the big hogs in front involved in this play.
Offset eye on 3rd and a yard. And stuffed at the line of scrimmage is Parmalee. And that's where, if you're a Cardinal fan, you have to be asking yourself a question. You have a player that has not played in the first 2 weeks of the season, certainly not a part of your offense, and on 3rd down and a yard, why is he getting the football?
That's the question that I think anybody watching this right now is asking. That, you have Ellington in here who's averaging 6.1 yards a carry this year. Feed it to the guy that's the proven back. Feed it to the guy that, build confidence here, that you say, hey, it may be 3rd and 1, but we're going to give you the ball. We're showing you right now in this game, we're putting it in your hands, and we're letting you guide us.
Oh, he's short. All right. Bruce Arians with a decision to make, and it looks like he's already made it. They're going for it on 4th down, or at least they're going to bring the team to the line of scrimmage.
This is one of those situations that, you may get the quarterback to come up there and, try to mess around with the snap count to see if he can get him to jump off sides. But this is the way that Bruce Arians calls games. He's aggressive. He's saying, we're coming at you. We're going to lay it all out on the line, and we believe in that next man up mentality.
Will they try to draw him off sides? Or do they run a snap here on 4th down? Carlson in motion. And the quarterback will take it and gets the first down. Or so it appears. 49ers are saying no. They are screaming at the officiating crew about something out there, David.
They're yelling that the Arizona Cardinals have a false start. You see the entire sidelines of San Francisco jumping up, saying that they moved before the snap, before getting that first down. Get a great double team there and just really pile that in. It's just like a snow plow. When you have that, you're just pushing the pile, just hoping that you get that yard.
And you know all about that from your days growing up in Chicago.
I most certainly do.
Stanton, first down. Out of the backfield, it's Andre Ellington. And that'll be a gain of close to 8. Coming up in a little more than a week, history will be made. Baseball's postseason moves to America's new sports network. Fox Sports 1 is your new home for baseball's National League Division Series, National League Championship Series, and, of course, the World Series. Second down and a long 2 for the Cardinals. Ellington cuts it back to the inside and has a first down, wrapped up by Ian Williams. And again, the 49ers looking around at the officials throwing their hands in the air. And I'm not sure what it's all about, but they've not been happy here the last couple of plays.
No, they haven't. They've been yelling. But on the other side of the ball, you've got Arizona. They're moving the ball. They're getting in and out of their huddle. They're getting to the line of scrimmage and making the adjustments. And right there we saw, get Ellington the ball. He's being patient. He's smart about where he's picking the holes to run with it. Stick with what you know as your offense and take the pressure off of Stanton.
First down, they will put in the hands of Ellington, and defended beautifully by the 49ers. There is a penalty flag down.
Illegal use of hands. Defense number 53. 5-yard penalty added to the end of the run. Automatic first down.
Well, he announced number 53. There is no 53. He must have meant 63.
I think it was Ahmad Brooks. 55 is the one who was at the top of the screen. Because if you look, I think it's here what they call it. Wow. Looks like they got away with one on that. It looks like Ellington's, moved a little bit before that snap.
And that's why the 49ers were screaming and yelling. First down. And Ellington out of the backfield makes a catch and then is tapped by Ahmad Brooks, two-time Pro Bowl linebacker who showed up out of shape in training camp this year. Vic Fangio, their outstanding defensive coordinator, and Jim Harbaugh, they were none too pleased about that, knowing they were going to be without Navarro Bowman, knowing they more than likely were going to be without Aldon Smith.
But one of the things, if you watch film and you watch Michael Wilhoit, he reminds you a lot of Navarro Bowman. His speed, his ability to cover wide receivers, tight ends, running backs out of the backfield. That dynamic and that ability to cover is what Navarro Bowman was great at doing.
To the end zone. And this time the Cardinals are ones looking for a penalty. That was Ted Ginn Jr. double covered by Chris Culliver and Antoine Bethea. And the former 49er. And that certainly looked like contact by Bethea before the ball arrived. Don't know if that was a catchable ball.
And we've seen a lot of flags thrown in these first 2 weeks that were a lot less ticky-tacky than that one. We've seen where it's just a hand touching a guy and they threw the flag. So when you reroute a receiver and there's that physical contact, you're expecting a flag to come out.
Third down and 10. And Stanton is dropped. Back at the 40-yard line under heavy pressure initially. There is a penalty flag down at the 22-yard line. Justin Smith, if that stands, that's already his 4th sack of the year.
They do a great job right there. They're going to make the running back.
Prior to the pass, illegal contact. Defense number 35. 5-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
Well, it's a shame that they get a penalty on that one because they did an unbelievable job of bringing pressure. They brought Jimmy Ward off of the edge, and then they shot Patrick Willis inside. That made the running back, Ellington, look both ways to see which man was coming in and make him make a decision. I'm sorry, Stephen Taylor was in there. My mistake.
49ers whistled for 16 penalties in that loss to Chicago on Sunday night. All right, first down as they get a break. And that'll be a 2-yard pickup by Stephen Taylor. Only his 2nd carry all year long. What a career Taylor had at Stanford. The only running back in the history of that program to go 3 straight years of 1,000 yards rushing.
And one of the things that they really like about him is his ability to pick up blitzes and protect in the passing game. He had a crucial block on that first opening drive of the Michael Floyd catch down the sidelines. They're going to need that with this attacking style of this 49er defense.
Final minute of the opening quarter into the hands of Ted Ginn, and look out as he reverses field. Boy, that is played nicely by the 49ers, staying home on the other side of the field. Chris Cook along with Eric Reed.
You're going to see Carradine at the top of the screen. He's going to make, my mistake, you're going to see Lemonier at the top of the screen. He's going to play it. He's going to play it. He's going to sit. And then he's going to make sure everything comes back. Great lanes right now. Great job by San Fran. You know, really containing that. That's something that Ted Ginn turns into a monstrous play if you let him outside there.
They clock down to 4. On this 3rd and 4, they get it off. Stanton. Good enough for a first down, and a flag comes in again. Catch made by the rookie John Brown, and then after contact, the flag is thrown. Looked like Lemonnier put a big hit on Stanton.
Personal foul. Face mask. Defense number 35. Half the distance to the goal.
And there's a face mask, no doubt about that, by Eric Reed. We asked Jim Harbaugh yesterday, can you coach players not commit penalties? He said, yeah. He said, but some of them, just silly.
Yeah, the undisciplined ones, the things that come down to the fundamentals of football, the false starts, the penalties, the holding calls, those are the things that take your offense out of sync.
Very entertaining first quarter. 7-3, 49ers in front. You're watching the NFL on Fox. Well, last week against the Giants, we talked about it. Stanton played a good game. It wasn't a great game, but it was his first start
Right there, we're going 5-2.
since he was playing for Detroit. And that was 6 years ago. They give it to Ellington and not much running room. Second down to the 8-yard line. This drive started from their own 20. 14 plays, 72 yards, chewing up over 7 minutes.
And this is an area that Arizona really has to do a much better job in than they did last week. You can't rely on the fourth quarter when in the red zone you're 1-4 with coming up with touchdowns. So it's important for them to really start this off fast right now, but they're not just going to settle for field goals.
One dead before it ever got started.
False start. Offense number 70. 5-yard penalty. Still second down.
It's Bobby Massey, their right tackle. He was a starter a couple of years ago, lost his job, and now he has it back this year. Now, you talk about Arizona in the red zone. Overall this year, 7 possessions, only 3 touchdowns.
And you can't give another football team those opportunities. And like I said, it's great when you outscore opponents 27-0 in the fourth quarter. But don't give them that opportunity. Take advantage of the situation early in this game.
Second down, Stanton, good protection, looking for Floyd, and broken up. That is played beautifully by the rookie Jimmy Ward. Of course, he was picked on last week for 3 Brandon Marshall touchdowns. But in fairness to Ward, a couple of those catches made by Brandon Marshall were out of this galaxy.
I mean, welcome to the NFL. I mean, you're going up against one of the best who is able to use his body, get the ball at the highest point. I mean, that one-handed catch that Brandon Marshall had is one of the best that you're going to see all year in the NFL.
They have not targeted Fitzgerald yet today. Of course, they went 3 quarters without throwing his way in the season opener. Blitz coming. Looking to the corner of the end zone. And Ginn made the catch, but out of bounds. And again, defended beautifully, this time by Culliver.
They're going to bring Parrish Cox off to the side here to make sure that he gets that average. And right now, here in the slot, you're going to see the release by Ted Ginn. He's going to get to the outside, get to the sidelines. Great defense, great job by the defensive back to make sure he forces that receiver to get out of bounds and not be able to get those feet inbounds with that catch.
Catanzaro again for a field goal try, 32 yards out. And he is still perfect in his NFL career, 8 for 8. But again, in the red zone, you get a penalty, denied a touchdown.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by The Judge from Warner Brothers Pictures. In theaters October 10th. By DirecTV. If you call yourself a sports fan, you gotta get DirecTV. And by Chevrolet. Find new roads.
Welcome back to the Grand Canyon State. There you get a look at Sedona. One of the great attractions north of the Valley of the Sun. And you look at some of the numbers. Both teams have moved the ball quite well. The difference so far, the Niners have had it just once. Cardinals have had it twice. And the Cardinals can't get in the end zone.
And I think the statistic that sticks out is moving the chains, being successful in that third down situation. You see San Fran's 3 for 3, but just staying on schedule, getting themselves out of those negative plays.
We'd love to welcome the men and women in uniform serving around the world, watching our broadcast in 175 countries and aboard ships at sea on AFM, the American Forces Network. God bless you all. We cannot thank you enough for standing tall for the greatest country in the world, the United States of America. Luke Air Force Base, not too far from Glendale, Arizona, and of course, a native son, Pat Tillman, who died serving his country. A standout at Arizona State University, and of course, right here with the Cardinals. Kaepernick fakes a handoff, and he slides up to the 27-yard line. That's a good gain of 7 on first down.
This is one thing that Colin Kaepernick is excellent at, the deception of the ball handling. You don't know if Carlos Hyde took that inside. He does a great job of pulling that in and out and making sure he keeps defenses guessing on where he's going to go with that handoff.
Gore comes back in for the 49ers. Second and 3. Sitting down right in the middle of the field and making a catch is Stevie Johnson. Already the third catch for Johnson. He only had 4 catches the first 2 games combined.
Colin Kaepernick goes through his progressions, make his read. Look at him throw this bullet. Stevie Johnson does a great job sitting right in the honey hole that the quarterbacks and receivers like to talk about. Get in that open space and sit. I will get you the football.
Johnson, one of the big weapons the 49ers added to their offense. Despite some brilliant moments by Kaepernick in his career, the 49ers last year only threw for 186 passing yards a game. A lot of times you see it in baseball. Pitchers throwing the ball and all the torque on the shoulder and especially the elbow. Take a look at the elbow here on the follow-through.
Well, he's definitely got the muscle to support that velocity that he's putting on the football. I'll tell you this, you don't want to be a guy standing with his shirt off next to this guy.
Second down and 6. Anquan Bolden makes a catch, and depending on the spot is very close to a first down. Of course, Bolden drafted by the Cardinals in a second round in 2003, was the NFL's Offensive Rookie of the Year.
Last year in his first return here back in Arizona, 9 catches, 149 yards, and 1 touchdown. You got to be careful because you know he's excited to be back in this stadium.
Well, when he left, he held all the Cardinals franchise receiving records. They have since, of course, been shattered by the great Larry Fitzgerald. Kaepernick again on the read option, and again picks up 7 on first down.
One of the things that I think people don't realize or think about when you're watching this, the ability of Colin Kaepernick to roll out of the pocket, get upfield, get back. You've got defensive linemen going 7 yards upfield, and then they've got to turn around, go back another 10, 15 yards downfield. I mean, that's how you wear down a defense, and when you can do that consistently, that's how you're going to break down a run defense that Arizona is great at.
Kaepernick is off to a brilliant start in this one. Of course, good starts have not been a problem, as that's incomplete on second down, bringing up third down. Kaepernick and the 49ers offense has been spectacular in the first half. Go back to week 1, 21 points in the first quarter, 28 points by halftime. They lost a 20-7 fourth quarter lead last week after all the turnovers by their quarterback. And this is a third down coming up. Blitz coming, and they had him, lost him, and Kaepernick trying to dive for a first down. Ball is blown dead, and that might turn out to be a big play in this game because they had Kaepernick drop for a sack and could not finish him off.
They sure did. You're going to see them bring both double linebackers inside the middle, make that offensive line squeeze inside, and you're going to see Kaiser come off the edge. Those are the ones that you need to come up on and come up with that play and not let him get outside.
They're going for it on fourth down. He was just short after they spotted that football. Fourth down, they're going to throw it. And they convert. And again, it is Stevie Johnson on the reception, already his 5th of the game. So each coach goes for it on a fourth down in his first half, and both times convert.
One of the biggest things that just happened on that play, more importantly than the catch, watch Frank Gore. He comes across the quarterback to make sure he picks off that blitz on the edge, to make sure Kaepernick can get that ball out. And moreover that, to make sure that blitzer doesn't get his hands up to block that ball and maybe come away with an interception.
To play until halftime. Well, that is a pinpoint throw there by Kaepernick into the arms of Anquan Bolden. And that catch to the 27-yard line. Kaepernick only one misfire so far. He's also added 35 yards in the run game. Design play. And making the tackle from behind is Tony Jefferson, coming up from a strong safety spot. And we talked about the great starts for Kaepernick so far this year. Quarterback rating dropped significantly in the second quarter, a slight rise in the third, and the wheels have fallen off in the fourth. They are 3 out of 4 on third down conversions so far today. And this will be a third down and 4 at the Arizona 25.
We need to get this Arizona crowd and some life in here.
Four-man rush. Nearly intercepted. A penalty flag comes down. That was Cromartie in coverage on Crabtree. And this will be holding against Arizona.
Prior to the pass, holding defense number 31. First down.
You see down here at the bottom of the screen. Going to get the inside release. You see past 5 yards. He gives a little pull to the back of the jersey there. It's a clean call. The emphasis has been put on this. Your hands are on him past 5 yards. They're going to throw it.
And the Cardinals rely on their cornerbacks maybe more than any other team in the NFL. They'll blitz regularly. And when you've got Cromartie and Peterson as your 2 corners, 2 guys you can count on, and now the 49ers must use their final timeout of this first half.
Timeout, San Francisco.
7:05 to play until halftime. Another extended drive for the 49ers. This is only their second possession of the game. Will be the 11th play. And they've chewed up over 6.5 minutes. First down and 10. At the Cardinal 20 after the penalty. Kaepernick again able to escape trouble and slides down to the 13, maybe the 12. Seems like every time he's running the ball, he's picking up 6, 7, 8 yards.
He really is. They're clearing them out. They're getting their wide receivers. They got right there. They got Miller out of the backfield. They're really clearing everything open so that if they are covered, if he doesn't have those available options, he's got easy, natural running lanes to make those yards.
44 rushing yards already for Kaepernick. Gore breaks it to the outside, back to the inside. Tries to power his way to a first down. It looks like he got there. If he did, it's first and goal for the 49ers. It is.
Just a great job of vision by Frank Gore. You know, yesterday when we talked to the offensive coordinator, Greg Roman, for the San Francisco 49ers, he said he's never been around a running back who can take everything what he sees from his brain right to his feet and make those movements and those adjustments on the go.
He has had an incredible career. 31 years old now, is Gore.
First choice
Timeout
timeout
for the Cardinals.
Arizona. A 30-second timeout.
We're getting back to Gore, and a lot of people remember, some may not. He had terrible knee injuries to both knees while he was still a collegiate. And that's why he slipped all the way down to the 3rd round coming out of Miami. He's a 49ers all-time leading rusher. So far in his career, over 10,000 yards.
On this play right here, you see him running, and he's going to see the linebackers inside. You're going to see Minter get picked off. He knows where everybody's coming and is just able to find that hole in that crease to get that ball and continue to move on positive plays and keep moving the chains forward.
9th year in the league last year. He carried it, if you include the postseason, nearly 300 times.
That's a sign of a tough, durable back. And when you have a running back that is back there like that can pound it, the respect factor from your team and from your offensive line and around the NFL, that's why he has the reputation he has.
This is a rookie out of Ohio State who they're very high on, Carlos Hyde. A 2nd-round pick after an outstanding career with the Buckeyes. He had a rock-solid week 1. 7 carries, 50 yards. First rookie to score a touchdown in his NFL debut since Vernon Davis. But only got 4 carries for 0 yardage against Chicago last Sunday night. They pitch it to Carlos Hyde. And he bangs his way into the end zone. My, oh my. The former Buckeye like a battering ram. That is his 2nd NFL touchdown. You wonder why they like Carlos Hyde.
Great job by the offense of really getting it out. And you want to talk about getting everybody involved in the play. Everybody sees Miller pulling around. You see Carlos Hyde. But wait till you see the block off the edge of Anquan Bolden. Boom. He sets the edge. That's what you need to do. You need to stop and set an edge for that ball to get outside. Very, very good job by Anquan Bolden to being able to step up, get Carlos Hyde out there and score that touchdown.
So now the point after by Phil Dawson, and it is good. 2 possessions, 2 49er touchdowns. Carlos Hyde sniffing that goal line. And there might be some sniffing of smelling salts going on somewhere about now.
Today's game is sponsored by McDonald's, official sponsor of the NFL. I'm loving it.
14-6. Both teams have only had 2 possessions in this game. Second 49er possession, 14 yards, 14 plays, 80 yards. They had it for 12 plays spanning 80 yards, capped off by the Crabtree touchdown in the first quarter. Cardinals have had it twice, moved the ball down the field very well twice, but having to settle for field goals rather than touchdowns. And Ted Ginn Jr. will watch it fly out of the end zone. Carlos Hyde barrels over Rashad Johnson into the end zone to give him a 14-6 lead. I don't know about you, David Deal, but I can't think of a better place to take a little snooze in this stadium when the Cardinals are playing on a Sunday afternoon. You know what I mean? Pretty quiet.
That's the stuff that you love to see in the NFL. I remember my daughter going to games and using her coloring book during games, sitting in the stands. So you got to love the young fans coming out and supporting their team.
All right, 5:07 to play until halftime. Stanton to throw it on first down. And a catch made by Michael Floyd. That'll be a gain of 14 on first down for the Cardinals.
Well, they always say that hits on the quarterback are cumulative, and that's one thing that Vic Fangio on this San Fran defense is doing. They're bringing extra guys and blitzers to get in the face and put these hits on Drew Stanton to make him unsettled.
Stanton so far has hit on 8 out of 13 for 84 yards without a touchdown, without an interception. Larry Fitzgerald has not caught a pass so far. We have 4:40 to play until halftime. They fake the handoff and looking for the goods. That's John Brown, exceptionally fast rookie receiver out of Pittsburgh State. Some shows have buzz and there's Gotham. Critics have been raving about it all summer long. Tomorrow it's finally here. See how the legendary characters began. Gotham, the series, premieres tomorrow, 8 Eastern, 7 Central on Fox.
Mark 2.
2 drives, 2 touchdowns for the 49ers. 2 drives, 2 field goals for Arizona. That's a dangerous throw across the field. Incomplete with an eye on Fitzgerald, and Parrish Cox right there with it.
Very dangerous throw. When Drew Stanton has to get this, you've got to get it to the sticks. You've got to get it to the sideline so that you don't get that interception, that tip ball, and that's the decisive making decisions that he needs to make. Get that ball where it needs to be, get it out quick, and stay in rhythm with your wide receivers, because that little split instance of timing, that ball being thrown inside, can mean the difference of a knock pass down or a touchdown.
Carson Palmer, of course, their starting quarterback, having some nerve problems in his right shoulder. Did not start last week. Flag down and trying to throw the back shoulder to again John Brown. We wait on the penalty.
Illegal use of hands in the face, offense. Number 62. That penalty is declined. 4th down.
So left guard Ted Larson. So for the first time today, a team goes 3 and out. Now bear in mind, the Cardinals punt team, they are without Zastudil, their regular punter. 3rd straight game they've gone with Drew Butler. He's had 1 blocked and had 1 tipped. Ellington back to the 18-yard line, across the 30 and up to the 33. Good field position, but the 49ers are out of timeouts. 3rd possession. The first 2 have been mighty good for San Francisco. Vernon Davis has had extraordinary success against these Cardinals through the years, but no go today, injuring his ankle last week. This is only the 3rd game in his career, and 2 of them came in his rookie season that he missed.
His ability to stretch the field, create mismatches, and quite frankly, probably the fastest tight end in NFL history.
Derek Carrier with 1 big catch already in this game. They hand it off to Frank Gore on first down, and he's across the 35 to the 36-yard line. It has been the Colin Kaepernick show today. Trying to put last Sunday night in that rear view mirror. 11 of 12. A touchdown pass to Crabtree. By far their leading carrier on the ground. 8 rushes, 44 yards. Next closest ball carrier, Carlos Hyde, has 2 carries for 10 yards.
This Arizona defense has only given up 66 yards on the ground right now. Kaepernick's already had 44 himself.
Play action to Gore. And Kaepernick looking around will throw it away under heavy pressure. Campbell, Kelly. Third down.
This is what Colin Kaepernick brings to your football team. His ability to rush and break, contain, make plays with his feet, elude sacks and tackles, and keep this offense striding and moving forward and not moving backwards. That's what he brings to this football team. That's why it's so tough to defend a guy like this. Yeah, you say you want him to beat you with your arm, but if you have to don't come up with those sacks and those plays, he'll force you to play the honest way. He'll beat you with his feet.
That missed sack on that third down looms very large in this game. And that throw drilled in there to Crabtree to move the chains up to the 45-yard line. Boy, that is a bullet from Kaepernick.
It really is. You're going to see the one-on-one matchup outside. Patrick Peterson versus Michael Crabtree. Crabtree breaks off his route, comes back to the ball. Kaepernick puts the ball in the exact spot it needs to be, outside where Peterson can't get a hand on it. Continuing to move forward with first downs.
Remember, the 49ers do not have a timeout. For 2:44, looking down the sideline, and incomplete. Only a second misfire of the game for Kaepernick. Looking at Brandon Lloyd. Lloyd, one of those weapons they brought in. He was out of football last year. You're talking about a guy who, in 2010, led all NFL receivers in yards with over 1,400. He was originally a 49er going back to 2003. He last played with New England. Caught 74 passes 2 years ago.
Was one of my college teammates coming out of the 2003 draft. One of the things, his ability to catch the ball off the sidelines, get to the sticks, and keep his feet in bounds, that's something he's known for.
Stuffed for maybe a half a yard on second down is Gore. So third down and 10. Cardinals have 2 timeouts left. So they're thinking about a stop. As you see, the 49ers have already rushed for as many yards as the Cardinals have given up on average against San Diego and then the Giants. 49ers are going to let this roll down to the 2-minute warning. A third down coming up. We're inside the NFC West. 49ers in front of the Cardinals, 14-6. Follow your favorite team all season long. Go to iTunes.com/NFL. 2 minutes to play until halftime. 49ers from their own 45, a third down and 10.
So linebacker blitzes. Here it comes.
Here they come. And they pick it up beautifully. First down reception by Stevie Johnson. He has been the go-to guy in third down situations today.
They bring Gerard Powers off of the edge out here. You're going to see Colin Kaepernick get his eyes, make his read, deliver the ball. Great job by Stevie Johnson turning it up and making sure he knew where those sticks were at the sidelines to get that first down.
Johnson had 3 straight 1,000-yard receiving seasons for Buffalo. Got nicked up last year. Production was way down. 5 catches today. We're now 49 yards. Kaepernick perfect on third down. And again avoids another sack. Will end up picking up 2 yards. Calais Campbell took a swipe at him. And we go back to that missed sack by Kaiser on their last drive. A drive where they ended up having to go for it on fourth down. They converted and end up turning that into a touchdown.
And they're getting the opportunities. Calais Campbell right there rips around the edge, can't hold on to him. There's a hole in the middle of the defense. They're out of their rush lanes, and he's taking advantage of it.
Second down at 9, fakes one way, drops it off to Carlos Hyde, who tries to spin his way out of a tackle and cannot do it, made by Tony Jefferson. It's a nice play by the Arizona strong safety.
Heading into this week, Tony Jefferson was leading the team with 16 tackles. And this was a free agent last year, rookie out of Oklahoma.
Yep.
This is a guy who's no silver spoon. He earned his way out on the football field.
He left after his junior year, and many felt if he'd have stayed one more year, he'd have had a chance to be a very high draft pick.
Those are the choices that you make, but at least he's making the most of the opportunity and the decision that he made.
49ers only denied once on third down, and they ended up converting on fourth down. They're bringing the house, and they will not convert this time. That is the one thing about defensive coordinator Todd Bowles. He will gamble anywhere on the field.
And they do. They're bringing the house. They do not want him to be comfortable. You're going to see Gerard Powers, and then late you're going to see Tyrann Mathieu come right off of this edge. They're going to see Kaepernick. They're going to force him to get rid of this football quickly and not be able to work through his progressions.
For the first time, we have seen the 49er punter. He's among the best in all the NFL. That's Andy Lee. The always dangerous Ted Ginn Jr. standing back inside his own 10. End over end punt. Very short. And the fair catch at the 15. All right, we have the Visa halftime report coming up. How about it, Kurt Menefee?
All right, thanks a lot, Tom. Coming up on the Visa halftime, it's the Cowboys completing a huge comeback in St. Louis. Tempers were flaring in Philadelphia. And the Browns and Ravens come down to a game-ending kick. That and more coming up on the Visa halftime.
Your old team for many, many years, David Deal, the New York Football Giants, getting their first win of the season today, putting 30 points on the board.
I know the New York Giants fans are very happy to see that production, something on the offensive side of the ball that they really haven't been able to do and get their first win of the season.
Cardinals have 2 timeouts remaining. Stanton is going to take this one himself and dives for a first down up to the 28-yard line. And only 12 seconds remain until halftime. Ooh, that's helmet on helmet, and boy, the 49ers are lucky there.
They most certainly are very lucky. I mean, that is a direct head to the right, head to the face mask, to the face, hitting with the crown of the helmet. Right away, those are the things that personal fouls and those flags come flying out with. So they're lucky they got away with that one, especially when you're talking about doing it to a quarterback.
Of course, he is a ball carrier once he leaves that pocket.
He sure is. He is a ball carrier, but you know, still that helmet to helmet, that face to face, we've seen those calls clearly thrown in the NFL.
Now Stanton going to pump fake and fire and nearly intercepted. 8 seconds remain. There's Michael Wilhoit. We talk about another guy that has earned his way to being where he is today. That would be Wilhoit. And still no catches today for Larry Fitzgerald.
You're going to see him come in motion right there. Break through. He's going to run right through the middle of the field. Hopefully looking to get open. That's one, though, I will say this. Drew Stanton was eyeing him down the whole time. You saw Michael Wilhoit be able to get his eyes back there, really play that ball. And, you know, if he was looking at this again, he's going to be upset he didn't come away with that interception.
Well, he's going to hand it off, and that's the way the first half is going to come to an end. So after that devastating loss by the 49ers, Colin Kaepernick with an outstanding first half of football and a 14-6 lead. Let's now go to Kurt Menefee and the gang in Los Angeles for the Visa halftime, which starts right now. The 49ers will get the football to begin the second half with a 14-6 lead over the Arizona Cardinals. Our Nissan performance that excites. And that would be Colin Kaepernick. 14 out of 18, 116 yards and a touchdown. He has 45 rushing yards, averaging 5 yards per carry. We are waiting the kickoff. Remember, when the game started, the 49ers offense came out in a no huddle and initially seemed to jar Arizona defensively a little bit. You wonder, would you do that again to start the second half?
I most certainly would. They had Frank Gore come in the first play, but after that, they ran 4 wides. They were in up tempo. They were trying to spread out this Arizona defense and really make sure that they weren't being able to substitute and make sure they were keeping them off keel.
We look inside some of the numbers. 3rd down, 5 out of 7, 49ers. Both teams attempting a 4th down. Bottom line is, it's much like they say in golf. You shoot par, you're not going to win. The guys that get the birdies win. And right now, the 49ers have touchdowns. The Cardinals have field goals.
And right now, San Francisco is 71% on 3rd down. And you look at the other side of the ball, Arizona, they're only at 33%. Last week against the Giants, they were only 5 of 13 in that 3rd down situation. So in order for them to give themselves some opportunities, they've got to extend those drives.
So here we go to begin the second stanza. And right away, Kaepernick on the run. And a gain of 9 on 1st down, wrapped up by Tony Jefferson. Laura Oakman along the sideline. What's going on?
Well, Bruce Arians said before the game, it wasn't the design plays from Colin Kaepernick that worried him. It was what we just saw and we've been seeing, the undesigned plays. I asked Jim Harbaugh, how much of this has been designed from Colin? How much of this has been him doing his own thing? He said it's been a great combination of both. He's been as impressed with his quarterback scrambles as we've been. As for Bruce Arians, he said we were preparing for their tight ends. We had to have to see who's playing, who's not playing. We now will know how to get, we're going to work on how to get Colin down and not let him turn 7 yards out of nothing.
Laura, thank you very much. On a 2nd down and 1 after the 9-yard run by Kaepernick, Laura picks up the 1st down. You know, Kaepernick did not tell anybody last season that in week 2 he chipped a bone and ruptured the capsule in the ball of his foot. He played the rest of the season. And while there's nothing wrong with averaging 5 yards per carry, as you look at the second half numbers for the 49ers, they have not been pretty. They have not scored a second half touchdown in the first 2 weekends of this season. Screen play, and that was sniffed out as good as it gets. Hyde makes a catch, but Rashad Johnson there to meet him.
Great job by Rashad Johnson coming from the outside. You know, this is one of those things that they want to run. They're going to sell the pass. He's going to make sure he gets through his protections, get him out of the backfield. Rashad Johnson, great job diagnosing that screen and getting up to it.
Rashad Johnson getting a little payback there on Carlos Hyde. He was the guy that Hyde ran through for the touchdown in the 2nd quarter. Johnson has had his best day in 3 weeks as a 49er, up to the 34-yard line, and a big 3rd down to begin this second half.
They're doing a great job of having good route combinations. Anquan Bolden, you know, they're getting Stevie Johnson, Michael Crabtree. They're just doing a great job of getting these wide receivers in great positions with their natural picks and rubs and the routes that they're running from the outside, of creating these opportunities for them to continue to move the ball forward.
Need to get to the 42-yard line to convert. 3rd down and 8.
They've got double A gap mark again.
And here they come. And should have been intercepted by Cromartie. That is one that should have been going the other way.
You're going to see Cromartie out here from the outside. He's going to be sitting there. He's going to keep his eyes on the ball. He's going to watch that quarterback's eyes. Makes a break on a play. That's a play that he comes up with. That's the plays and the interceptions and those big dynamic game-changing plays that you need to have on the defensive side of the ball.
So a punt on their first possession to begin this second half. And Ted Ginn Jr. a fair catch to the 15 after a 51-yard punt. Cromartie still shaking his head. That's one that got away from him.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Without a heart, it's just a machine. By Papa John's, official pizza sponsor of the NFL. By Lowe's. Lowe's, never stop improving. And by Bud Light, who reminds fans to stay in the game and drink responsibly.
Lake Powell, reservoir on the Colorado River. 2 million spend their vacations at Lake Powell in northern Arizona, right on the Utah border. First offensive play of the second half by the Cardinals, trailing by 8. And McDonald wraps up Andre Ellington on first down. Now Stanton got off to a really nice start in the first quarter today, hitting on 7 out of 10 for 70 yards. Second quarter, not as good.
And I think that goes to the calls of Vic Fangio and the defense of San Francisco. They've been doing a great job of bringing extra rushers, forcing them to get rid of that ball quick, and he's been getting hit a lot more than he has in the past.
That one batted down by Dan Scuda. Came over as a free agent from Cincinnati last year and has gotten a lot of playing time playing in place of the suspended Aldon Smith.
He sure has. You're going to see him. He sees the quarterback's eyes, and you know if you can't get to that quarterback, get your hands up in those throwing lanes and get that pass defense right there.
Fitzgerald has done so much damage through the years against these 49ers. Only twice have they thrown his way today, and both of them could have been intercepted. 2 out of 6 on third down are the Cardinals. 4-man rush. Stanton steps up. Lost it to Floyd, who came back to get it, and that is a catch to the 38-yard line. Floyd, a breakout season a year ago. He was their main man, and off to a big start this year, a gain of 45.
You see Michael Floyd here at the top of the screen. He's going to get that outside release. You know, you see him getting that hand off of him, pushing it, sees the ball, gets it at the highest point. Look at his body position, hand-eye coordination to go up and get that football at the sidelines. Those are the type of plays that they need to move this change forward.
Now Floyd, and batted down. Great coverage by Cox, who continues to spell the injured Tremaine Brock.
Hey, you may not be happy sitting here. Well, I'm excited. At least they're believing in Drew Stanton, and they're giving him the opportunity to take shots downfield and hopefully get something going on this offensive side of the ball.
Well, they had 2 extended drives in the opening half to the Cardinals, but both of them ending in field goals. 6 shy of the century mark is Floyd on his 3 catches today. Second down and 10. Ellington off the left side, cuts it back to the inside. That turns out to pretty good gain, about 7 yards. And now some extra pushing and shoving. Were you involved in much of that, David Beal? Some of that after the whistle stuff?
Well, when they're at the line of scrimmage and you're in those trenches, it's not a mismatch where you're saying, no, it was a stalemate. That one could go either way. It's your will against his. You're either winning the battle or you're losing. And there's a lot of emotion. There's a lot of intensity. And when you're down in a game like that, you're pushing that pile and trying to get everything you can out of it, because that's what pays dividends in the fourth quarter. Breaking down defenses, being physical, continuing to smash.
Cardinals going to spend a timeout before this third down. Stand to talk it over with Bruce Arians. There you see Michael Bidwell, the family ownership. Steve Keim, their general manager, sitting to his right. And of course, their senator, one of their senators from here in Arizona, John McCain, enjoying the game today. And so far, as advertised, very physical, tough football game. 3rd and 4. Put it in the hands of Ted Ginn, and he slips a couple of tackles and has a first down to the 24-yard line. Got a good block from Larry Fitzgerald.
Very good block by Larry Fitzgerald. You see Michael Floyd come over on the motion, act like he's running the route, and is able to get into his block in order to get that first down.
Fitzgerald still without a catch. Only one time in a game which he's played in his NFL career did he not have a catch. First down. Stanton, good protection, open down the middle, and it is a touchdown for the rookie John Brown. .24-yard touchdown strike, and the Cardinals find the end zone for the first time today.
You're going to see him in motion here at the top of the screen. The one thing when we asked anybody on this Arizona team, give us one thing about John Brown. World-class speed. You're going to see him cut right through the center of that defense, head towards that back pylon. That's the drive that Arizona needs. Moving the chains, staying in and out of those third and long situations, and coming up with a touchdown.
Well, they converted on a couple of third downs on that drive. A one-point game, 9:20 to play in the third.
Today's game is sponsored by Visa Checkout, the easier way to pay online.
Well. A 14-13 game. And you know what every 49er fan is saying right now at home. Is this, here we go again. One possession each into a second half. 49ers have been outscored in the second half 42-3.
They certainly are. This is what the clutch that they've had, the 21 points they gave up in the fourth quarter last week against the Bears.
And now bringing it out 9 yards from his own end zone. Not a good decision there by Ellington. All right, now wait a minute, David Deal. I want to send out, and all of us at Fox Sports want to send out a hearty congratulations to you on Wednesday night in your hometown of Chicago. Inducted into the Hall of Fame. Three-sport athlete. You were the man, obviously, in football, track, wrestling. Graduating in 1998, wore number 64. That was quite a group you went in with this week.
It most certainly was. Quentin Richardson, who I grew up playing basketball with, long time in the NBA. Goose Gossage, Minnie Minoso, Craig Hodges. I mean, it just was a true honor to receive that award and to do it with so many great athletes.
Michael Crabtree on first down. Swing it out to him, and he's up to the, where are they going to spot that, 23-yard line.
Well, that Chicagoland Hall of Fame actually brings ties to this game. When I was looking through the book and I was looking at my name, Deal, I was in between Richard Dent and Mike Ditka, two teammates and the coach of Jim Harbaugh on the opposing side.
How about that? We were talking to Jim Harbaugh about that yesterday. And some of the greats he played for. Second down, Kaepernick pumps one way, in trouble the other way, escapes, flag down, and another flag down. It looks like maybe holding back behind the line of scrimmage, and it looked like a face mask as Kaepernick started to come along the sideline.
There are fouls by both teams on the play. Holding, offense number 77. Personal foul, face mask, defense number 31. Those fouls offset, replay second down.
That's as though none of that ever happened.
Well, it did happen. I'll tell you this.
And that's Antonio Cromartie down on the sideline. While they check on him, we'll step aside. Well, they continue to check on the left knee, it appears, of Antonio Cromartie in his first season with the Cardinals after spending the last 4 years with the Jets. And he just got tangled up there with Crabtree on a bump.
Yeah, just like his foot got stuck in the turf and his knee moved funny.
Second down. Kaepernick again gets out of trouble. and throws incomplete with a look at Derek Carey.
That's on Tommy Kelly. He's pursuing from the outside in from that defensive tackle position, and gets his hand up in that face mask on Colin.
All right, a third down.
It's inside pressure.
And again, they just couldn't get him in the backfield, although they do deny him, it appears, first down yardage. He's a yard short.
They're going to bring Larry Foote and Deion Buchanan right up to middle. They're going to shoot him. They're going to shoot that gap to see if they can get that pressure and continue to get after Colin Kaepernick.
Second possession ends in a second punt. And now again, a fair catch at the 33-yard line. Let's check in back in Los Angeles and take a game break. Send it to Joel Klatt.
All right, Tom, let's check in on that Super Bowl rematch, and the Seahawks have picked up right where they left off in New York last February. Right before the half, Marshawn Lynch, second touchdown catch of the season. The Seahawks up 17-3 over the Broncos at the half. Tom, David, Laura.
Well, of course, David, we saw the Seahawks lose last Sunday in San Diego. That was a very impressive performance by the Chargers, who get another win on the road today against unbeaten Buffalo.
Yes, it was. And I think that they laid out the floor plan and the blueprint for opposing teams that are going to play that Seattle defense.
Ellington on first down, tripped up by Scuda. Stanton on the last drive, hooked up for 45 yards with Michael Floyd. And then the touchdown throw to Brown on a third down and 4.
Sean Brown for the Cardinals.
And Cromartie, although appears to be walking pretty well, but that sometimes can be a bit deceiving. Led back to the locker room.
Short timeout, Arizona.
Cards one timeout. And they have one left. Down a point. '49ers. Their last 3 possessions have ended in punts, including the first 2 here in the second half. And David Deal, I want to ask you a question as we look at that 49ers sideline. Second down and 6 here. Stanton is going to run it for a first down. And took a hit, and that'll be a flag on Scuda. And that's the stuff we saw from the 49ers last week that are a killer. That is just a silly penalty on Scuda.
Personal foul. Unnecessary roughness. Defense. Number 51. 15 yards into the end of the run. First down.
See the clear reaction from his teammates. And that is a call that they're going to get. But I will say this. When you're a defender and he's still up like that, you're full speed running at him. How are you going to stop your momentum? I mean, that's the thing.
Yeah.
He's leading with his shoulder and not his head. But you still see Stanton. He's not fully in the slide motion when he's going down to hit him.
Good point. Really good point. Well, they tack on 15. It's a first down for the Cardinals. At a 40-yard line. Jim Harbaugh is really giving it to the official over on the far side. Stanton gets it away, and man, he took a lick, and there's another flag.
Personal foul. Roughing the passer. Defense number 52. Contact with the helmet. 15 yards. Automatic. First down.
Now that's 2 hits in a row Stanton has taken. How much can one man take? Those are 2 major hits.
Those are vicious hits that you never want your quarterback to take. And not to mention, when this is your only quarterback with the full experience that he has on your roster, you can't let your quarterback take these hits.
And Joe Staley was upset about the last one. Equally as upset about this one. You know, was that driving into the pelvic area of Jay Cutler? It was a big play delivered by Quentin Dial last week. And Cutler was able to get off the deck and throw a touchdown pass just before the end of the first half. Let's check in with Mike Pereira back in Los Angeles. Mike, your thoughts about these last 2 penalties against the 49ers?
Well, if you look at this one here, I have a problem with this one because Stanton is not down on the ground yet. So you get a late slide and then you get a hit before he gets to the ground, any part of his body. I'm kind of with David Deal here. You know, you've already committed to the tackle. You actually didn't go with the helmet-to-helmet shot or a shoulder or forearm to the head. I think you got to lay off that one. But, you know, when you lean to the side of protection of the quarterback.
Ellington makes a catch, wrapped up by Willis, trying to lean forward, needed to get to the 15 for a first down. And he got it to the 14.
And that is what he brings to this offense. When you think about him, when you talk about Andre Ellington, it's not only the catching out of the backfield that he's able to do, but the thing that he's able to do is they'll line him out. They'll put him at the wide receiver position. They'll let him do different things to not only just put him out there, but to make him have plays in his favor.
Well, he is short of the first down. They marked it into 14 originally and then came back and moved it outside the 15. And that's a false start.
False start. Offense number 62. 5-yard penalty. Still third down.
You're going to watch the guard here, just that little bit of movement, that little bit of pointing and stemming. Yeah, you can move your offhand, you can do those things, but when your whole body weight distributes and you're moving and having that herky-jerky, they're going to call that every time. They give you the opportunity to point things out with your offhand and do that, but when you have that body movement, every time they're going to throw that flag.
All right, well now 3rd and 1 becomes 3rd and 6. That could be a big penalty in this game. Four-man rush. Stanton a pump fake to the end zone. Again, it is Brown. "21 yards. Already the 3rd touchdown reception in the last 2 weeks. For this 3rd-round pick out of Pittsburgh State.
We're going to see John Brown here matched up. You know, he's going to beat Jimmy Ward immediately off the line and show that speed. Anytime you get back behind that defensive back and are able to do it where Bethea can't come over on that coverage to help out, you're going to get that touchdown every single time.
The Cardinals 2 possessions and 2 touchdowns. What they could not do in the first half. Stanton and Arizona in front. Well, we expected a physical, tough football game between a couple of teams that had really good seasons last year. Arizona won 10 games, did not go to the playoffs. 49ers, we know all about them, 3 years in a row to the championship game. When you're standing on a sideline, David, if you're on the 49ers offense and you know you have not scored a touchdown, and we're only talking about 2 games, but you haven't scored a touchdown in the second half of either game. Your first 2 possessions here, you punt. Is it creeping in your mind?
It most certainly is because you can't blame it on turnovers this game. That isn't the issue. It's the production in the second half of being able to move and continue your drives and have the success that they had on 3rd down in the first half. Now the second half, you're seeing the personal fouls, the penalties. This is what got them in trouble last week and caused them to lose the game in the 4th quarter.
Well, Drew Stanton, his second straight week as a starter in place of injured Carson Palmer, took back-to-back big hits, both of them penalties. 30 yards on that last drive on personal fouls.
And you can't take away from his toughness, his ability to bounce back up after those and still deliver those balls downfield fearless. You got to give a lot of credit to Drew Stanton on those.
Sitting next to the quarterback whisperer, they call him, 75 years young, is Tom Moore. Former quarterback at the University of Iowa, won a couple of Big Ten championships. First down, they pitch it to Bruce Ellington. And he maybe picked up a half yard. Second down. Well, coming up next month, the baseball postseason moves to America's new sports network, Fox Sports 1, home to the National League Division and Championship Series. It all begins October the 3rd with the NLDS. And we'll call it a yard gain. So second down and 9. And there's a first down on a catch by Crabtree up to the 33-yard line.
That's a big first down for the San Francisco team. Getting themselves out of, don't have to go into that third down situation that they haven't had great opportunities and haven't been successful at, making it on second.
First down, that's Johnson. And he has another first down up to the 45-yard line. What a day today for Stevie Johnson. They brought in Johnson. They brought in Brandon Lloyd, drafted Carlos Hyde and Bruce Ellington to try to give Colin Kaepernick some more weapons to go with Crabtree and Davis and Gore.
They're starting to use some of the same packages that they heard earlier in this game that they've had success with. You know, getting Stevie Johnson, sitting him in that little honey hole in between those linebackers. You know, it doesn't have to be the big shots. Start dinking and dunking downfield.
What a catch that was by Bull. Well, there are ones that are going to be on the highlights later tonight, and then there are just catches when you see them. You're like, how many guys make catches like that?
And look at that. That's only one-handed with his left hand. You know, it goes to show that the consummate pro that he is, and the ability to have 101 receptions in this building as a rookie. You know he's excited to be back here and making that play.
And that is Johnson. He will turn the corner inside the 20 and run out of bounds. See where they mark it. They mark it at the 17-yard line.
You're going to see him right here. He's going to go up. He's going to pivot inside. He's going to see Crabtree come inside. He's going to get that outside release and really stretch that ball down the sideline.
32-yard gain. Johnson now 98 receiving yards. And once more, the 49ers going into a hurry-up offense. Lloyd. Down to the 12.
San Fran is doing a great job of staying in this up-tempo, keeping this defense tired and off-field. You see these guys running off tired off of the sidelines. You know, when you're not able to make those substitutions, that's how you have the success now in the second half.
Two receivers standing there together. It's Bolden. And it'll be first and goal, 49ers at the 5-yard line. There's a penalty flag came in. Not sure where it came in. I don't know about you, David Deal. I still don't see a penalty flag anywhere.
Nor do I. I don't know if they picked it up or what's going on, because there's no flag on the field. And they're clearly discussing what it is.
We're about to find out.
After the flag, personal foul. Unnecessary roughness contact by offense, number 81. This foul occurred after the play.
Well, this is after the catch.
15-yard penalty after they had gotten the first down. It will be first and 10, San Francisco. With the game clock operator, please reset the game clock to 1 minute and 33 seconds. 1:33 on the game clock, please. Thank you.
He's sitting there right there getting into it with Tony Jefferson. Those personal fouls, those discipline things. you're marching down in the red zone. You've worked way too hard to get down here and let your frustration take over.
So rather than first and goal at the 5, it is first and goal from the 21-yard line. Frank Gore split out wide to the left. That's him down there. Kaepernick all day to throw and finds Crabtree, who shed one defender. And then Larry Foote comes in to finish him off.
He has this one-on-one versus Dan Buchanan. You know, he's able to fight off, get that inside leverage, and all those receivers talk about yak, yards after carry. He got some right there. It was very physical.
Carlos Hyde checks into the backfield. On a second and goal from the 17, they give it to Hyde. Nope. Kaepernick kept it and dropped all the way back to the 20-yard line. That's a nice play by Deion Buchanan. #1 round pick out of Washington State.
Does a great job there, just playing as contained, watching the ball. You know, you watch the camera guy, he gets fooled with it, but Deion does not. He stays on it, stays in his gap, and fouls the ball.
That will be the final play of the third quarter, a quarter dominated by the Arizona Cardinals. What is in store for the fourth? 2014 Cardinals. Fox NFL Sunday continues after a break from your local Fox station. Antonio Cromartie has come out of the locker room. Left knee injury, a questionable return. And they've gone after his replacement. Third-year corner Justin Bethel on a couple of completions so far on this 61-yard drive. But this is a third down and goal from the 19-yard line. We'll see who Bethel's locked up with there. It looks like Anquan Boldin. Kaepernick to run it. And he looks to be short. Maybe a yard short. There is a flag in the backfield. Right at the 24-yard line.
Personal foul. Flipping. Offense. Roll-up block. Number 71. 15-yard penalty. Replay third down.
And I beg your pardon, seeing the yardstick over there after that first penalty is third down and goal. Well, now they're really going to get backed up on a third and goal.
We're going to see Jonathan Martin is right here, so we're going to see this chop. It is. It's behind the back of the player. You didn't get your shoulder and hat across to come across and really rip through that side thigh board. That's something that defensive linemen talk about all the time, and that's something that they've emphasized now moving forward.
The penalties have been a killer for the 49ers again this week. Third down and goal from the 34-yard line. In the hands of Crabtree. And he is tackled at the 29-yard line. So this would be roughly a 47-yard field goal try by Dawson, who has more than enough leg. But again, you go back to penalties. They had 2 personal foul penalties totaling 30 yards on the last Arizona drive. And now after the catch by Boldin, the headbutt on Tony Jefferson, it was first and goal at the 5. Moved him back first and goal to the 20. And another penalty put him third and goal from the 34. 46-yard field goal try by Dawson. And it is blocked. And the Cardinals have the football at midfield.
Since 2008, the Arizona Cardinals are #1 in blocked field goals with 16. They're going to see him right up there, get that penetration. Tommy Kelly get that hand up and block that field goal.
Today's game is sponsored by Subway Restaurants. Hurry in for the $5 footlong Italian BMT. Subway, eat fresh. By the agile all-new Audi Q3, stray the course. And by The Equalizer, in theaters September 26th.
Part of the beautiful Arizona landscape. 17th blocked field goal. Going back to the start of the 2008 season, more than any other team, Tommy Kelly getting in on the act here.
Tommy Kelly 6'6", Calais Campbell 6'8". When it's a long ball like that, you know that kicker is going to try driving it low, and they were able to get that penetration in the backfield to get their hands up and block that one.
So now on first down, Stanton, the Cardinals right back on offense, and it's underthrown to Michael Floyd. 16 penalties last week. The headbutt, a huge call. Anquan Bolden headbutting Tony Jefferson, and then once the Cardinal offense came to the sideline, Jim Harbaugh came over to know what's going on right now.
And right away, those are the frustration penalties. That, you know, it's always the second man who does it is the one that always gets caught. You just had a great catch. You drove all the way down here inside the 10. You can't have those foolish penalties, rumor driving, you know, to come away with no points off of it.
Ted Ginn to throw the ball, and that is a catch made by Michael Floyd on the far side. So Ted Ginn Jr. throws a dart for a first down.
We're going to see him come across like he's going to run a reverse. This is a design. Clearly pivots out, works his way back, and hits Michael Floyd. I mean, keep a defense off balance to be able to do this and throw the football, and it just goes to show you Bruce Arians is in this football game to win it. He isn't holding anything back.
The first career attempt for Ginn, and it's a completed pass. Penalty flag down. Well, here we go again. You get another 49er Culliver, and the officials coming over. There's 2 flags here. And you wonder, is this another situation where a 49er just simply loses it? The guy is out of bounds, and then you come right up in his grill. You don't know what happened before that. But Jim Harbaugh wants to know.
There are fouls by both teams on the play. Holding, offense, number 89. Unsportsmanlike conduct, taunting, defense, number 29. Those penalties offset, replay first down.
Well, some might say, you know, not a big deal. It didn't happen. Well, the big deal is the penalty would have been backing up Arizona here if all of a sudden 7 yards out of bounds, Culliver is not taunting Ellington, who had been shoved out of bounds.
You just clearly saw the penalty before with Anquan Bolden and what it did to your football team. Be disciplined. Control yourself under pressure. Go get him the next play. That's when you can do your damage, not outside.
Ellington buried at the line of scrimmage by Williams. Well, it cannot be denied. The 16 penalties last week, along with the 4 turnovers, losing the 20-7 lead in the 4th quarter. And look at this half alone. And every one of them you can remember off the top of your head, because 3 of them have had huge implications in where we are at 20-14 with under 12 minutes to go. Pump fake one way. Looking down the sideline and out of the reach of Jerron Brown. 3rd down and 12. Boy, Stanton missed an open receiver there. That should have been 6.
He sure did. Ellington does a good job picking up the blitz, the little stutter move and go. That close. That. Drew Stanton coming into this game. You've got to respect the game that he's playing. Yeah, he had some struggles there in the 2nd quarter. But he's taking shots downfield. He's confident. And you got to give this Arizona offensive coordinator, Bruce Arians, a lot of credit because they're believing in him and letting him play.
blitz coming on third down, and he dumps it off to the tight end, Carlson, and that is a first down to the 32-yard line. They brought in Carlson during the offseason. He's been plagued with injuries the last number of years playing in Minnesota. But when he's healthy, this guy's a good player.
He most certainly is. This is a player that coming into this year, they heralded as their best free agent pickup coming in. You know, to have a tight end who can stretch the field, but also his ability to block in the run game, to have that multi-dual threat, you know, that is such an advantage for an offense.
Carlson's first 3 years in Seattle, he caught 113 passes. Last 3 years, he's just had a hard time getting on the field. Ellington tripped up by Ahmad Brooks. And all of a sudden, it is down to the San Francisco 30-yard line. And there's not much running room, and rarely is there ever running room against this 49er defense. They have been among the best. In fact, they have been the best over the last 4 seasons against the run. Second and 8. Floyd, first down to the 20. And Michael Floyd with better than 100 receiving yards today.
That's Drew Stanton. He's holding his hand after him. A little follow through. It looks like he nicked a finger there or something. They're on the follow through to the ball, but hey, look at it. We've seen the hits he's taken. If it's only a finger, he's definitely going to play through it after the vicious hits we've seen him take earlier in this football game.
Pump fake one way. That's a dangerous throw, and Stanton got away with one there. And again, the 3 times they have looked at Larry Fitzgerald today, who, by the way, has still not caught a pass. But every time they have thrown in his direction, Stanton has nearly been intercepted.
He most certainly has. And that's one of those things that Larry Fitzgerald draws enough attention on itself. You don't want to force that football to him. Yes, this is his 152nd game, the longest consecutive with the catch. But the most important thing you want to do is come away with the win.
Set it up to the other side to Jerron Brown. That is an excellent tackle made by Parrish Cox, but there is a penalty flag in the secondary. And the 49ers are applauding this call.
Block.
Pass interference. Offense, number 15. 10-yard penalty. Replay second down.
That's what Michael Floyd shaking his head. The only game Larry Fitzgerald he's ever played in his career where he did not catch a pass. Halloween 2004 at Buffalo.
Now that is a statistic that only tells the story of how great Larry Fitzgerald has been, but also the fact that he hasn't caught a ball today at the biggest game where he has 12 touchdowns against this team.
Flag comes down. A little delay to Ellington, who carries to the 25-yard line. A gain of 5 on second down, but are they going to be backed up more?
Holding. Offense, number 63. 10-yard penalty. Replay second down.
Well, they've got nearly everybody along that Cardinal offensive line today. 3/5 of them have been whistled for penalties. Only Beldier and Fanica.
When you're going up against a talented group up front like this, you're fighting, scratching, and clawing to get the job done and protect your quarterback and get that run game going.
Second down and 30. Cardinals need to get to the 10-yard line to pick up a first down. Stanton lets it fly, and there's the first catch of the day by Fitzgerald. A 25-yard pickup. 152nd consecutive game with a reception.
Drew Stanton keeping his eyes downfield, trusting what he sees, believing what he sees, and he sees it first. Deliver the ball right before Larry Fitzgerald gets out of that break. That's a sign of a confident quarterback going into this drive.
So now a 3rd down. It's gone from 2nd and 30 to 3rd and 5. Almost 3rd and 6 after the spot. Fitzgerald leveled, stays on his feet. Very close to a 1st down, and a flag comes in. Boy, he took a hit from Patrick Willis. Somehow stayed on his feet. It was after the tackle where the penalty flag came in.
So he went from him not having a catch to having 2 back-to-back big plays. I mean, listen to this crowd. One word to describe that: respect.
Again, we wait on the penalty. They're still talking about it.
Personal foul. Unnecessary roughness, helmet contact on the receiver when he was in a defenseless posture. Penalties half the distance to the goal. 1st down.
See Larry Fitzgerald right here. He's going to break inside. Just a quick one. They see the hot. They throw the hot to him. But clearly he gets that hit to the face. Still holds on to the ball, shows his toughness, and here we are, Arizona in the red zone. Let's see if they can come up with a touchdown here.
That's a young man who's meant so much to this entire community here in the greater Phoenix area, Larry Fitzgerald, since he was their 1st-round pick back in 2004. And he is the face of this franchise, make no mistake about it. They pitch it to Ellington. And man, running against the 49ers is not an easy way to make a living.
No, it is not. Dan Scooter does a great job out there. You know, they're going to try getting that wide receiver to come in and pop him. He's able to slice through, turn his shoulders, and make that big open field tackle.
Clock certainly becoming a factor now. Arizona with a football inside the 10. Fitzgerald a pair of catches starting at 2nd down and 30. And back-to-back catches to get him a 1st down. Fitzgerald again. Did he fumble the ball? Looks like he did.
Oh, boy.
Oh, boy. That is a huge turnover by Larry Fitzgerald inside the 5-yard line. And that's exactly what the doctor ordered for the 49ers.
Right there, you get things driving. You get Larry Fitzgerald in a tempo and a motion. Here we go, ducking down. Let's see how this ball comes out.
There's a whole pile of them around there. Bethea's the one that wrapped him up. Not sure if that caused a fumble. But Cox covered it up. 49ers have the ball. A huge break. Well, you had a combination hit made by Bethea along with Michael Wilhoit, jarring the football loose at the 5-yard line, and then Parrish Cox there to cover it up just when Arizona basically had a chance to put this game on ice. But now all of a sudden Kaepernick and the 49ers, who have not scored a single 4th-quarter point in 2 games and midway through, better than midway through this 4th quarter in week 3, with a football from their own 5. And they give it to Carlos Hyde, and he's up to the 8-yard line.
Let's see this play here. Larry Fitzgerald, look at that ball. He doesn't have that high and tight where it needs to be. It looks like that ball was floating even before he ducked down to hit contact. You really got to secure that ball when you've got a swarming defense like San Fran coming after you.
Kaepernick had an unbelievable first half and has been quite quiet in the second half. Catch made, but short of a first down to Stevie Johnson. He has been really the receiving core for the 49ers today.
He really has. He stepped up and made those plays that they needed to make to continue to keep themselves in third and short situations. They're not making them go out on bounds, but what they're doing is they're keeping them in tight. They're keeping them in those plays so that, you know what, we're not going to take that super shot downfield. We're going to keep these things tight.
Third down and 2. They roll, put it in the hands of Crabtree, and that'll move the chains. 49ers, David, when you're in that huddle, you don't have much time. 5.5 to go. You have all 3 timeouts. No reason to get a little edgy, a little jumpy here. More than enough time, right?
There certainly is. You say there's over 5 minutes, but as an offense, you're thinking this is almost like a situation where we've got our time, we've got our timeouts. Let's not force anything, but let's make sure we keep ourselves in those manageable downs and we don't hurt ourselves like we did before.
Kaepernick escapes trouble. He's in some more of it and just throws it away. And really upset with himself for not getting that sack was Big Frosty Ruckert. Coming up week 3 later tonight, Sunday Night Football. Steelers at the unbeaten Panthers. That's at 8:30 Eastern on NBC. And tomorrow, Monday Night Football. The Bears coming off that shocker against these 49ers, taking on the Jets. Second down and 10. Kaepernick sacked at the 8-yard line by Jefferson. That's the first time they've got him today.
They do a great job of bringing this pressure in. He's going to run that inside stunt and just naturally pick. Nobody's going to be able to cross off, twist it off between an offensive lineman and a running back.
Third down and 19. They need to get basically to the 30-yard line to convert. 29-yard line. A timeout called by the 49ers.
Today's game is sponsored by Visa Checkout, the easier way to pay online.
To 14, 4:14 to go. Third down and 19. Disguising blitz, or are they coming? They're coming. Kaepernick hangs in there. Incomplete. 49ers will punt it away. Todd Bowles, second-year defensive coordinator. You know, a lot of people felt like he had huge shoes to fill when Ray Horton left here. But his first year with Arizona, number 6 overall in total defense, number 1 against a run. They remember the name, former player, and a good one. As a coach, replaced Juan Castillo as Philadelphia's defensive coordinator in 2012. 6 weeks into the year, the defense actually got worse, and he got fired. And many believe he is a great candidate for a head coaching job. Ginn from a 35. And will step out of bounds at the 42. Just under 4 minutes to go. This one a long way from over. Anquan Boldin has to be wondering about that penalty where he headbutted Tony Jefferson at the 5-yard line when they had first and goal at the 5. First down, and the carry is to Andre Ellington. As we are under 4 minutes, Cardinals with the ball and a 6-point lead. 49ers had the field goal blocked. It was a long field goal try. But that's a critically important play right now when you're down by 6 rather than down by 3. And once more, the 49ers, much like last week, the inability to do anything on offense in the second half. They have still not scored a second half touchdown. And penalties have just killed them these last 2 weeks. But they still have a chance to win, only down by 6 and standing to throw. Knocked down at the line of scrimmage.
I'll see on that one, I understand that you want to be aggressive, but you're in your 4-minute offense here. You're doing your best to not only keep your drive moving forward, but you don't want to keep any time on the clock here. You've got 1 timeout left. You just had a nice little run to get things going. Why put yourself in this 3rd and long situation here? Why not take a run and then take your shot if you're in that 3rd and long situation? That's something that you as an offensive lineman and as somebody from the outside looking into this is we stop the clock. We're just continuing to give them more chances to be successful on the score.
They're coming after Stanton here on 3rd down. And he just throws it up down the sideline. And a penalty flag. Now we have to wait to see. That was Cook in coverage on Brown, who has a couple of touchdown receptions today.
Pass interference. Defense, number 22. Slot foul. Automatic. First down.
Well, you be the judge.
There it is. Still got his hands. Pushing off. It's the clear emphasis. Anytime you have your hands on the receiver, anytime that you're pushing off or doing anything, you can't argue this call anymore. We've seen it throughout the preseason and the regular season. They're going to call it.
9 penalties for 107 yards. And now they'll try and chew up some of that clock. Look at Justin Smith. I mean, he just picks up and throws Ellington down on the ground. 49ers going to use a timeout.
And that's what you expect out of Justin Smith coming into this game. He's led all defensive tackles with 149 tackles since 2001.
Yeah,
that is
a player.
Unbelievable. That is the most active right now. But you got to give the credit to the Arizona offensive line. They've done a great job of double teaming him and really trying to minimize his attention that he gets, and you know the ability he has to always be in the face, to be the relentless player that he is.
How about the name Gern Nagler? That'll be bandied around the Valley of the Sun tomorrow. Last Cardinal to score 3 touchdowns in his first 3 career games. It should be noted Brown has scored 3 touchdowns in the last 2 games. He had the 13-yard. That was week 1. He scored the touchdown off that screen play against San Diego, and now 2 of them today.
I will say this, though. If Arizona is successful on this drive and comes up with a field goal or touchdown, Larry Fitzgerald better buy that defense dinner, because he got him out of a bind and they really saved him and stepped up when they needed to.
2nd down at 9. Ellington cutting it back into the inside. He's to the 32. I'm catching you up to date on some of the games early on. What a battle. Foles against Cousins. And Philadelphia comes out on top by 3. Rashad Jennings. Look at the numbers there for the Giants in their first win. And Dallas seemingly dead and buried, down 21-0. Cowboys rally to defeat St. Louis by 3.
That is definitely one that people weren't expecting going into that St. Louis game. They weren't expecting for them to come out with that 21-point, lead, and we got to give Dallas credit being able to fight back and win that.
3rd down, they'll run it, and that is a first down and more for Ellington. Spun down at the 11. And that will take us to the 2-minute warning.
You're going to see a great double team here by the offensive lineman. Get up to Will Hope and give that running back that vision and that clarity to really gash him.
We talked about the line and the number they've done on Smith. Valdir, the big block to spring it. And the Niners in trouble with 2 minutes to go. (20-14), 2-minute warning. Cardinals trying to go to 3-0 for just the 3rd time in franchise history. Stanton going to take a knee. 49ers will spend their final timeout. Well, the Arizona Cardinals and 49ers joining the NFL in celebrating Hispanic Heritage Month. Join us in celebrating the diversity of the NFL during Hispanic Heritage Month and all season long. So the 49ers spend their final timeout. This will be another week, David, deal where unless something dramatically changes here in the last 2 minutes, they'll talk about penalties. I think as important, maybe more important, a 49er offense and in 3 games has not scored a single second half touchdown.
That there alone, that statistic goes to show you that they don't know how to finish football games. Arizona has found out a way to do that, outscoring opponents coming into this one 27 points to nothing. But the discipline it takes to do that, to come in and day out, play in, play out, from the first play to the last, you've got to stay consistent, and they do not do that in the second half.
And that man right there, Bruce Arians, of course, it was 3 years ago where he was out of a job, was out of football. And then Chuck Pagano called him to come to work for him in Indianapolis. Of course, he replaced the cancer-stricken head coach, went 9-3 with the Colts, wound up being the AP Coach of the Year. Won 10 games last season in Arizona. A win today makes it 10 wins in the last 12 they have played. Our game today produced by Bob Stenner, directed by Greg Scopatone. Our technical producer Bob Muller, our technical director Dane Crawford. Replay producer is Mark Titleman, our associate director Yvonne Wagner, our broadcast associate Jordan Wolf. As always, we thank up here in the booth Tom Barbary on stats, Scott Snyder, our spotter, Eric Norton and Mike Eldridge down in the truck. And our thoughts and prayers to one of our favorites from here in the Valley of the Sun, Jimmy Carter. Our thoughts and prayers are with him and his family. Under a minute to go. When the season began, the only 2 teams everybody talked about in the NFC West were the 2 teams that played in the championship game last year. The Seahawks and the 49ers. The 49ers will go to 1-2. Seahawks are winning against Denver to go to 2-1. And look who is standing unbeaten after 3.
Arizona Cardinals are a team that believe in one another. They believe that they can go out and finish games in the fourth quarter. And, you know, their philosophy, they talk about next man up. And, you know, you hear the cliche about it. But when we talked to Bruce Arians, he said, I'm a clear example of that.
Now, this is the second week in a row you and I have seen a team with the lead in the final minute attempt a field goal. Always a danger of having one blocked.
Always a danger in having one blocked. You know, but I think you always go. You got to go for the points. You're going in here. Let's see if they close out the game with this.
This will put it away if they can hit it from 35 yards out. Good snap, good hold, and perfect in this young season of the Cardinals. And perfect on this young season is Chandler Cantazero. Their rookie field goal kicker has not missed. 9 out of 9.
Speaking about this game before, you know, we were talking and everybody was talking about a rivalry. The minute we said rivalry to the Arizona Cardinals, they said, there's no rivalry. We've been getting our butts kicked. They said this is a time where it's put up or shut up and grind that meat, they said. They never forget that game last year when Harbaugh had that long sustaining drive. And after the game, he said, we were grinding that meat. They said, you know what? We knew we were the meat. Today's the day that we can come out and do something about it.
So here you'll have through 3 games played. And there's one later to be played tonight by the unbeaten Carolina Panthers. The 3-0 teams in the NFL, the Philadelphia Eagles, the Cincinnati Bengals, and the Arizona Cardinals. Carolina a chance later. Denver is still playing, although down late in Seattle.
Goes to show you the parity of the NFL. These aren't the teams that people would say, week 3, these are the teams that are going to be 3-0. But when you have a team that believes and goes out and fights each and every game, there's no for sure winners in the NFL, and that's what you love about it.
Well, one thing about all 3 of those teams, 2 of the 3 made the playoffs, being Cincinnati and Philadelphia. Arizona was a 10-win team last year that did not make the playoffs. So everybody figured those 3 had a chance to be pretty good. But 3-0, not sure about that. So be Bruce Ellington, and he is tackled at the 8-yard line. 23 seconds remain. And then there's the talk at quarterback, Drew Stanton. Now, far be it from us up here in the booth to stir up a quarterback controversy. But, you know, David Deal, I mean, numbers don't lie. This young man played a solid game, and when they really needed him most in the second half, he delivered the goods.
He most certainly did, and a lot of credit goes to Drew Stanton and his ability to fight through that adversity and keep plugging and to come through. But also, a lot of credit goes to this Arizona team and Bruce Arians. You know, you just had that feeling that they had that confidence coming into this one, that if they played their game to their level, that they could come away with a win.
Harold Goodwin is their offensive coordinator, who works in concert regularly with Arians, who, of course, has come from the offensive side of the football during his entire career. Kaepernick will complete the pass out of bounds to the 37-yard line. And that's going to do it. So how about the Arizona Cardinals? They are 3-0. Drew Stanton leads them to back-to-back wins. 23-14 our final today.